All right, welcome back to the Basic Baches. We just finished watching episode 2 of Katie's season, and what's the first thing that you want to talk about?
The first thing I want to say is I'm already annoyed that we're episode 2, and there's already not a rose ceremony. Like, that annoys me.
Yeah, it felt like they put all of the stuff they saved for the end of season in this
one episode.
Yeah. Like, Greg and her's date had fireworks, and they had the he's here for the wrong reasons, and then they had a cliffhanger.
Yeah, there was a lot of drama, a lot of kissing, a lot of this episode.
Yeah.
Is there anything you wanted to point out before we start?
No, I think we should just kind of go, like you said, through the episode chronologically. So we could start with maybe the sex talk thing.
Well, before that happened, I just want to, talk about Carl. Because he started the episode by saying, "This is the Hunger Games, bro." Acting like that. And then he had the quote, "Ask not what your bachelorette can do for you, but what you can do for your bachelorette." And I was like, oh, what are you...
Well, everybody was rubbed the wrong way by that, clearly. So they were kind of setting him up to be the villain. But that kind of goes into the cliffhanger a little bit.
Yeah.
But, was there anything else that stuck out before the sex talk thing?
No. So our first group date was the sexual date, which once again, they saved, I feel like, a little later on. They have these humiliating, you have to do a show I think of Ben Higgins' season where they had to do the talent show and Olivia jumped out of the cake. And these just humiliating dates, I feel like, take place later.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was the first date, this humiliating date.
I feel like they had to get the drama and the interest going early because, I still feel like Katie just isn't a very good bachelorette.
Yeah. Chris
Harrison isn't there, and they're kind of...
They wanted the juiciness to start.
Yeah, they've, kind of forced it to happen through that.
Yeah, it was called, the greatest lover of all time.
Well... So, with that date, the thing that is sticking out to me, obviously, is the guy who won, Mike.
Yeah.
So, at first I was like, you are an absolute moron for coming on to The Bachelorette.
Yeah.
And thinking that your morals are going to match up with the girl who bought a dildo on her first.
That's what I was thinking, too, is she is so sex positive. And while I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with wanting to be able to talk about sex with your partner, because she did explain that that's what sex positive is. It doesn't mean she's like a horn dog. It means that she can be, maybe.
We can talk about that later.
But, it just means being open to the discussion of it with your partner. And while it's not necessarily a bad thing, like you said, why would you think that you would match with a girl
and he was crying in his interview about
Yeah, he was our first crier, right?
Yeah, and then, so I was really annoyed with him at first about that. And then once he actually did the date and won it, and I thought it was cute how he did it.
Yeah, I think it was very good, and it made her cry, which is a theme throughout this episode.
Yeah, we need to talk about that too.
I liked Connor B, of course, because, he's one of my favorites. The singing
cat guy?
Yeah.
The singing was fine.
Yeah, and the long fingers was a little weird, but,
So we need to talk about their kissing because it was absolutely disgusting. It
Agreed.
was cool it down.
Yeah.
Please.
They're always after one another, and they keep talking about how he had paws the last time and, stop.
And she, made him stop. She, pushed him away because he was, getting way too into it.
Weird. And then I want to talk about Trey, who had the puppets.
The puppets. And that was a showstopper.
That was weird. And
it was, wrong.
The safe word, it was wrong. And, hey, it was 2 animals.
And it's children's puppet.
What was it? Yeah, it's a children's puppet. And the safe word was peaches. And I'm like, ew. An emoji, peaches is butt.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, it was so weird. Thomas got the group date rose. And I kind of already wrote in my notes, he just doesn't seem genuine at all to me. But she's smitten.
I know, she loves him, but his face reminds me of the guy who wants to look like a Ken doll and got, like, 5,000 plastic surgeries.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about his face is creepy. I feel like he could be, a villain in a movie.
Yeah, and Carl was just, like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like...
Carl just seemed, like, on something. He needs to take a chill
pill. Yeah.
He had crazy eyes.
Yeah.
And he kept saying, listen, listen. It's like... You just want the attention on you.
Yeah. You're the one that's here for the wrong reasons.
Uh-huh.
Do you have anything else to say about that date?
I think we should get into Greg's date, maybe.
Greg's date? Okay. I liked the idea of doing something very simple. I think the show, one of my complaints about it was it's so exotic and unrealistic. Mm-hmm. Like normally the show is. But like this date wasn't exotic. It was realistic. It's something they both did growing up. So I liked that aspect of it. But as a viewer, I was bored.
Yeah, it was very boring. And then she made him axe the bucket so that it could turn into a toilet. But then she was making out with him while he was sitting on it. Oh. That was just disturbing.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like... I don't know. I'm not, like, obviously I've not had a ton of experiences on first dates, but my ideal first date is not kissing a dude on a toilet.
No.
That you've just made out of a Lowe's, like, paint bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah, not...
And then, like, in their dinner date, obviously he revealed that his dad died 2 years ago, and... It was kind of creepy because she was, like, so into it. It was like...
Yeah, like...
Is this, like, a weird fetish or something?
Yeah, she's smitten with him as well. I mean, I do like him. I think he's a front runner, but...
I feel like it's a trick.
That's what I was going to say. The way they're portraying it, you almost wonder... He got the first group date rose, give him the first date, then their relationship's going to fall.
And he looks like her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. And I wonder in, like... 4 or 5 episodes what their relationship will be like, because by that point she'll have had 6-ish other one-on-one dates.
Yeah.
So what is that gonna look like?
I think Greg's gonna be the underdog and come flying up there. Or no, not Greg. Garrett.
Garrett, you like Garrett. He's the redhead.
Yes. Yeah. Love Garrett.
Yeah. So we'll see. He was on the sex date and he did like
he said that the last time he had sex was 2 months ago.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she was fine with
She's
that?
sex positive, so she probably doesn't
you never
care.
Know.
But she gave the virgin the rose, so I don't know.
She's confusing me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she cried on her and Greg's date. I do want to point that out. And he cried too. But I think that she was, like you said, into it. That he was emotional.
Yeah, I was, like, too into it, though.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No. How about the mud wrestling?
Okay. Let the dudes brush their teeth first. You know, they all had stank breath.
Yes. And I wanted to say, how humiliating is it to wake them up, make them come out in their underwear, also have them talk deeply about their sex lives. And I feel like the Bachelorette or Bachelor franchise is very sexist and, like, is way more... like, willing to humiliate men than the group of women.
I agree. I think that with the date, I don't remember a group of men having the sex date. Or, I'm sorry, a group of women having the sex date. Because I remember Tayshia or Claire, one of them had a similar date.
I think it was Claire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone did. And it was embarrassing, and they had to talk about, like...
Of course, everything.
Right? Well, I remember, like, them having to, like, do, like, a sexual story, and they had to read it or something.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, it's like they're making these men do it, and I don't feel like they should ask either party to do that.
No, it's not right. And they, like, always put the men in these humiliating outfits, make them wrestle in the mud. And, like, they have done stuff kind of like that with the women, but I feel like it leans way more towards the men.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I have... Brandon and Hunter went against each other. Brendan obviously won. Hunter, poor guy, he got knocked down so fast.
His face is a meme.
Yeah, it is. Kyle and Andrew won. Josh and John, I'm a huge fan of John. It was a draw on Cody and Aaron. That was the very tense fight. Aaron won. And then while we were watching it, me and Maddie kept saying to each other, like, all three, Tasia, Caitlin, and Katie noticed the tension, but no one broke up the fight, and it looked like they went more and more at each other than anyone.
Yeah, and then Katie supposedly gave Aaron the rose to go talk to him.
Do you think, like, Aaron only got that rose because of the tension?
I think so.
Who do you think would have gotten it?
I feel like Katie didn't choose him. I feel like the producers chose him.
Probably. I feel like if it was anybody, she seems really into that Andrew guy.
Andrew, who's that?
He was the one that you don't like. I thought he was kind of cute. No. I'm sorry. Andrew. I liked Kyle and Andrew. Andrew is the guy with the fake accent.
Oh, okay.
Who got the group date rose.
I think he's a top contender.
I agree too. And then Kyle was the one that I really liked too. I said was kind of geeky.
Oh, he's gonna get sent home next roast ceremony.
Probably. But yeah, I think maybe Andrew would have gotten the time because she seems really into him.
Yeah. He seems really sweet.
And then Cody got sent home on that date.
Yeah, so then that kind of goes into the conflict between Cody and Aaron. I don't think there's too much to say, but he didn't seem to fight her too much when she confronted him.
Yeah.
So that's kind of telling. He just seemed weird.
He, like, it was bizarre.
Yeah.
And there was no other word for it. It was unexpected. A lot of people are praising her for sending him home right away, but I feel like there wasn't enough evidence to send him home, so I was like, you probably just didn't like him and was looking for a reason.
Well, he seemed kind of bland, and if there's no chemistry, I don't really blame her.
Yeah. And I do want to point out from this date that Andrew and her made up on, bonded over having the poor childhood.
Oh, yeah, that was another kind of weird kink that she seemed to have. It's like any trauma she has, she kind of, like, loves that.
Yeah.
Which I can understand, like, relating to somebody, but, like, the intense kissing and, like, sexual tension is kind of creepy.
Yeah, and I feel like Katie went in for the kiss and Andrew didn't.
Yeah.
And I feel like they need to be the ones. You're fine. They need to be the ones to go in for the kiss because I think she needs to know that they are interested in her. If you're worried about people being there for the wrong reasons, like that's what I would do. I'd be like, "You're gonna kiss me," like.
Yeah, she's way too. Well, I mean, I don't want to say she's way too forward because I think being forward is fine, but like, she's giving out the physical affection super quick.
I think it's going to confuse the guys.
I think it is going to confuse them, and it's going to confuse her in the long run. But yeah, I definitely wanted to touch on her intense kissing. She hopped on that one guy's lap.
Yeah,
and he was
Thomas.
up in her Spanx.
Yeah, right?
Oh yeah,
and
Thomas.
Then, Hunter did the love letter, and so he got a call out.
Yeah, but she only gave him a hug.
Yeah, she doesn't seem very into Hunter.
Speaking of Hunter,
and like you said, he's a meme.
Yeah, his face is just like, what?
They keep zooming in on the most unflattering times. They know what they're doing.
So speaking of Hunter, I know a girl who went to school with him, and apparently he used to be overweight. And so she sent me a picture of him, how she knew him in high school compared to now, and it's pretty crazy. He doesn't look like the same person.
No, he doesn't look like the same person at all. Maybe we can get her permission and share
I can
it with you
maybe
guys.
post that photo on our private Facebook group.
Yeah. Okay, and so anything else before we move to the cocktail party?
I think we can move on really quick. Speaking about the cocktail party, I just didn't like that her dress seemed to be wearing her.
Yeah, I made the comment that I thought it was way too much.
Yeah, it was
to you. It was like
green eyeshadow too.
Yeah, and it was one shoulder. It had like a sash or something, and then it had the open leg. And I think it would have been perfect if she had the open leg. And then that's it. Like, do the open leg and then maybe like a normal top.
I feel like I'm coming off as a big Katie hater, but she just really isn't my cup of tea.
No, we were kind of commenting on like her first night dress and this cocktail party dress we weren't fans of.
No.
We both did like her third date dress. The black one with the sequins or the like beads at the top, whatever that was. The Michael kiss on the ear.
That was disturbing. I feel like Michael is actually closeted, and he reminds me so much of Evan, and I just cannot see him lasting too much longer.
Well, he didn't get a date, but then so I was like, okay, she's probably just going to let him go. But then she asked for him first.
I wonder why.
Maybe just to give him some clarification, make him feel comfortable so he didn't quit. I don't know, because...
I don't know.
I think he's the one with the kid. So maybe she wanted to make him feel like... I think she's unsure.
Anybody with a kid who's coming on to The Bachelor, it's kind of like the whole Christian thing. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and he asked if he could kiss her. And she said, yes.
Well, even from the start, he kissed her on the ear, kissed her on the hand, and she was not into it at all. And then he goes, can I kiss you? And she kind of hesitated, and then it was like this intense, crazy kiss.
Yeah. It was awkward, for sure.
Yeah.
And then... Can we talk about Carl going in there, making no sense at all, telling her she needs to be worried about people in the house, not naming names, not giving examples, and his closing thing is, stay vigilant.
He's literally, I think he was actually intoxicated, that's what it seemed, and he just had the impulse to be noticed.
I think so. I think he's just... wanting attention. I think we saw that kind of at the beginning. Like you said, they were definitely setting him up to be a villain. I mean, I did appreciate that when the guys were like, what the heck? He raised his hand, but it was just like...
It's because he wants attention.
And then he was like, I approached the person. And I was like, no, you didn't. We would have seen that. The producers, they would be all in on that drama. And that other person would be talking crap about you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was just bizarre. And then Katie, berated them. And cried.
How many times has Katie cried? What does it take to make her cry?
I don't know.
The drop of a pin.
She cried every single date.
I know.
And then didn't she cry during the
I feel like she's unstable. Like you said, it's a maturity thing, maybe.
I mean, I get her crying over her dad. Like, that is a pain I cannot
relate to
at all. But it's just like,
get a
why
grip.
are you crying over, a guy who you don't know being there for the wrong reason?
And she was
crying.
You
sent him home. Bye-bye.
And she was crying over the virgin guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm so confused.
Yeah, I don't know what her deal is.
But
I will say Carl did tell the guys that Katie asked him,
that was
if there
skeevy.
were people in the house, and then he was just like, yeah, I just basically answered a question. And I was like, no, you didn't.
You brought it up.
Exactly. Anything else you want to add before I read off some of the tweets?
Nope, let's hear some tweets.
Okay. So this is something I was excited to tell you about. Guess what a fan caught?
What?
The account is called Peter's Golf Cart, which I think is hysterical. And they found that Katie, on her group date, her third group date, this is a mud one, was wearing Greg's bracelet.
Oh, sheet.
Yep. So that's something. And then someone else picked up that when Katie walked into the room, one of the gentlemen stood up. And it was John. And he stood up. Everyone else was seated.
I thought I saw Mike. That's Mike. Or is it John?
That's John.
Oh, I thought it was Mike. I noticed that.
So I thought that was sweet that he stood up for her. Then here's a funny one. And that one was College Park Mom. And then Served Hot and Ready said, talking about Cody. Is that his name? Cody and Aaron's drama. Do they know each other from home? Was he entertaining men for money? And then they did a picture of Anna from Matt James's season. And then the constant theme of Twitter was that the 4 top picks, Connor B, Greg, John, and Andrew. So I thought that was interesting. Andrew got the third group date rose. John's the cute guy that stood up, and I liked him. Connor B saying Greg was obviously the one-on-one. So they are seeming to be fan favorites right now, so I just wanted to point that out.
Cat guy, not going far.
I like him a lot.
I know.
I think he's adorable, except for I didn't like that, like, while they were kissing, they asked each other how it was, and he missed the pause.
There's not chemistry. He's weird.
I think there's chemistry on her side.
Well, she kissed him like she liked it, but I think it was awkward.
Yeah, I think she was like, I miss the whiskers. Well, on that note, is there anything else you want to add?
Nope, I think we covered it.
Bye, Batches.
Bye.
Hey, it's Bekah.
Hey, it's Maddy.
Thank you so much for listening to the Basic Bee podcast.
Follow us on the gram at Basic Bee Pod.
And join our private Facebook group linked in the episode notes.
Be sure to catch our next episode and leave us a nice review.
Until then, stay basic.
Bye, bees.